Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so today we're unpacking a truly fascinating, honestly, radically cautious approach to human existence. We're diving into a text called The ABCs of Life by Xu Feng. And I gotta tell you, this is literally the ultimate anti hustle philosophy. In a world that's constantly screaming at us to take massive risks, move fast, break things, this framework offers a completely opposite roadmap. It's all about extreme self preservation, avoiding trouble at absolutely all costs, and treating life like a highly delicate road trip where your one and only goal is to just not crash. To really wrap our heads around this, we have to start with the author's core metaphor. Quote, life comes into the world, embarks on its journey, enjoys all the scenery along the way, and finally reaches the destination safely, abandoning the vehicle and stepping onto the other shore, heaven, unquote. So for the author, your physical body and your life, they're simply a vehicle. You're on a road trip. The entire goal of this trip isn't to build the biggest empire or, win some crazy race. It's simply to drive safely, appreciate the view, and arrive at the very end in one piece.
Okay, let's dive into this. What exactly are these ABCs of life, according to the text? Well, they're defined as the basic common sense you need to keep your vehicle out of the mud, out of the deserts, and entirely out of the traps. Think of it as a rule book dedicated entirely to preventing collisions, avoiding overturns, and making sure your car doesn't get completely wrecked. It's all about dodging life's hidden crashes so you can actually reach your destination safely and smoothly. To help us digest this massive list of survival rules, we've organized the author's advice into 5 clear thematic pit stops for our journey. 1. Navigating family and career. 2. Avoiding financial potholes. 3. Steering clear of society. 4. Detaching from personal ties. And 5. Reaching the final destination. Let's hit the road. Section 1. Navigating family and career, the early miles. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that the author's strategy for our early life relies entirely on absolute obedience and avoiding conflict to guarantee a smooth start. As we look at how to navigate those early years, the strategy is pretty intense. According to the text, regardless of your parents' qualities or methods, they are your ultimate protection and backup. So the key to a smooth childhood and youth is simple. Listen to them, don't quarrel, absolutely do not oppose them, and don't make them angry. And this extreme conflict avoidance, it extends right into adulthood. Step 3 is workplace survival. The secret to smooth career progress here? Avoid conflicts with your boss. The author advises absolute obedience to your boss's orders, showing total respect in your words, your expressions, and your actions. Basically, you're keeping your head down to keep the car moving smoothly. Section 2, avoiding financial path holes. Don't run out of gas. Money is usually where people's vehicles take the most damage, right? Well, the author has incredibly strict warnings about how to protect your journey from financial ruin. Right off the bat, we're told to avoid gambling, speculative business, and the stock market completely. In fact, you shouldn't even dream of getting rich. Those dreams are viewed strictly as traps. You're also warned against accumulating valuable material wealth because, hey, it just attracts thieves and scammers. Another massive pothole? Debt. Borrowing is seen as something that instantly strips away your freedom, especially high-interest loans. But perhaps the most fascinating advice here is that last point. The text advises that even if you see gold lying right there on the road, you should just ignore it. Why? Because refusing to take advantage of freebies is seen as the ultimate way to dodge life's scams and traps. And that brings us to a really striking metaphor. When it comes to luxury goods and vanity, the author warns that pursuing these makes you like a leaky barrel. If you're controlled by vanity, you simply won't have enough fuel left for the long journey ahead of you. You are literally draining your own energy. The rule here is incredibly strict. Live within your means, use items purely for their practicality and aesthetics, and do not undertake anything beyond your actual capacity, or you will end up trapped by your own actions. Section 3. Steering clear of society. Dodging traffic. As we look to navigate the broader traffic of the world, we get this rapid-fire list of societal traps. It explores how we're advised to interact, or rather entirely avoid interacting with societal structures. The overarching theme here is that joining large groups is just an unnecessary risk. The text warns against joining political or religious organizations because when they decline, they can lead to your ruin or even imprisonment. The military, strictly advised against because its very nature is putting your life on the line. Furthermore, we're not to flatter officials as they're seen as the absolute root of trouble. The author also strongly cautions against prying into people's privacy or informing on others. Doing so causes you to lose your virtue.
And finally, stay far away from practices that promise supernatural powers or special techniques. The source claims these lead to imbalance and could even drive you to mental illness.
So the crucial point is really highlighted in how the author views mentors. The advice is highly specific. You can learn from a master, but you must not follow them. The reasoning? Well, every master's understanding is limited. If you follow them too closely, you might miss other opportunities. And if that master happens to have ill intentions, your blind devotion could plant the seeds of disaster right into your own life. Take the knowledge, absolutely, but always protect your independence. Section 4. Detaching from personal ties. Driving solo.
That intense need for independence leads right into some of the most radical anti-attachment advice in the entire text. These rules for personal ties are, wow, they are intense. The author says it's totally fine to maintain friendships, but you must avoid forming close factions or partisan alliances because they inevitably become a burden. You're told to avoid special relationships simply because the cost of maintaining them is just too high. You must also avoid close contact with anyone who is married or in a committed relationship due to the potential hidden risks. But the ultimate piece of advice here? If possible, avoid entering into marriage and family commitments entirely. The underlying logic presented is that once you enter these commitments, you lose control over yourself. You're basically handing over the steering wheel of your own vehicle.
Section 5. Reaching the final destination, the beautiful life. After all this extreme caution and avoidance of society, debt, luxury, and deep relationships, you might be wondering, what is the point? Well, and this brilliantly illustrates the core contrast of the whole philosophy. On the left, we have the standard societal ideal. Aspire to do great things, take massive risks, hustle hard, and change the world. But on the right, we have Shui Feng's ideal. Do not aspire to do great things. Simply being able to drive your life's vehicles safely and smoothly to the destination without crashing is considered a remarkable achievement all on its own. Because according to the text, when you strip away the ambition, the debt, the societal entanglements, and all those risky relationships, what are you actually left with? You're left with a crystal clear windshield. Avoiding all those risks is exactly what frees you up to simply experience joy and happiness along the journey. It gives you the time and energy to appreciate the boundless beauty of nature and to truly savor the simple delights life offers, like good food and wine. If you can do these simple things and arrive safely, the author says you are truly blessed.
It's such a fascinating perspective that completely flips our modern achievement-obsessed culture right on its head. It really asks us to look at the massive toll that ambition and entanglement can take on our well-being. But it also leaves us with a profound question to chew on as we wrap up this explainer. Is a journey without risks the only way to truly enjoy the ride? Or does a life completely insulated from risk miss out on a totally different kind of beauty? I'll leave you to ponder that as you navigate your own road trip today. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the source material, and keep learning.